The soft, almost reverent clink of cutlery against porcelain. Candlelight, a hesitant flame, flickers and dances, casting long, shifting shadows across the quiet dinner table. It's an evening that, on the surface, hums with the comfortable rhythm of shared lives. He, engrossed in the meticulous recounting of his day, perhaps the intricacies of a demanding email or a challenging meeting, his voice a steady, confident hum that fills the room. His narrative is linear, logical, built on facts and outcomes. She sits opposite him, a polite smile playing on her lips, a gentle nod offered at appropriate intervals, an almost perfect picture of engaged attention. Yet, beneath this veneer of tranquility, a subtle discord plays. Her gaze, for a fraction of a second too long, drifts past his shoulder, past the warm glow of the lamp, to the window, to the inky blackness beyond. A vast, indifferent expanse. And then a faint sigh escapes her, a whisper of air, barely audible above the gentle murmur of their conversation, easily mistaken for a natural release of a long day's weariness. The knife, as she carefully cuts her food, scrapes against the plate, suddenly sounding cold, almost sharp, an unexpected punctuation mark in the otherwise smooth flow of the evening. He, lost in the architecture of his own words, doesn't notice. Or, perhaps, if a fleeting flicker of it reaches his periphery, he dismisses it. What if that barely there sigh was not just fatigue, but the first tremor, the initial, almost imperceptible whisper of a deeper truth, a burgeoning worry, a profound discomfort that wasn't meant for words, that couldn't find words? And what if, in our haste to navigate the explicit, our countless everyday distractions, our often innocent yet ingrained assumption that what isn't directly stated doesn't exist, we missed it entirely? We live in a world that thrives on explicit messages, on clear demands, on spoken words that demand immediate action or response. We are trained to react to what is loud, what is direct, what is impossible to ignore. A fire alarm, a shouted warning, a direct question. These are the stimuli our attention systems are primed to detect and process. But, beneath the surface of nearly every human connection, in the quiet spaces between words, in the unspoken gestures, the subtle hesitations, the nearly invisible shifts in demeanor, lies another language. This is a language of nuance, of intuition, of energies felt more than heard. These are what we call the dark signals, not sinister in intent, but dark in their very nature of being hidden, residing in the shadowed, often unilluminated corners of our awareness. They are the unseen currents that subtly guide relationships, the silent tremors that often precede seismic shifts in interpersonal dynamics, or the gradual erosion of intimacy. To overlook them, particularly in the intricate and often emotionally layered world of many individuals, especially some women, is to risk a profound, unseen unraveling. The cost is not always an explosive confrontation, a dramatic breakup, or a sudden crisis. It is often a slow, quiet decay, where a vital connection simply withers from lack of nourishment, from the silent dismissal of a truth that longed, desperately, to be heard and acknowledged. It's the story of countless relationships that simply drift apart, leaving both parties bewildered by the chasm that mysteriously opened between them. Consider the complexity of this unspoken communication. For centuries, across countless cultures, many individuals, and particularly some women, have been socialized to prioritize harmony, to nurture connections, and to often navigate social landscapes with a heightened sense of emotional attunement. This often translates into a communication style that values subtlety, indirectness, and a keen awareness of subtext. A direct, blunt statement might be perceived as confrontational or disruptive to the delicate balance they strive to maintain. So, instead, the message is encoded, woven into the fabric of everyday interaction, waiting for a perceptive mind to unravel it. It's a language that expects a certain level of emotional literacy from its recipient, an ability to read between the lines, to infer meaning from the absence of words as much as from their presence. When these subtle cues are consistently met with obliviousness, with a literal interpretation that misses the underlying message, a profound internal shift begins. The sender, in this case a person, or often a woman, starts to learn that their nuanced communications are not valued, that their subtle pleas or concerns are not understood. This initial dismissal, though seemingly minor, acts like a tiny drop of corrosive acid, slowly eating away at the delicate fabric of trust and authenticity. She might begin to internalize the message that her feelings, if not explicitly articulated with blaring sirens, are irrelevant, or perhaps even too much. The internal monologue starts. Am I overreacting? Is it just me? Maybe it's not that important. These self-doubts, fueled by the repeated non-acknowledgement of her dark signals, can lead to a deeper withdrawal. She might stop sending those subtle cues altogether, retreating further into herself, believing that to express her genuine, intricate emotions is to invite misunderstanding, or worse, dismissal. What was once a subtle plea for connection or understanding becomes a quiet resignation, a decision to keep her inner world private, shielded from a partner who, despite good intentions, remains profoundly blind to its existence. This is where the true cost begins to accumulate, not in dramatic fights, but in the insidious growth of emotional distance. So, the silent erosion begins, doesn't it? A gradual, almost imperceptible drifting apart. Not because of dramatic disagreements, but because the very language of the heart goes unheard. This is the insidious consequence of ignoring what we call dark signals. But what exactly are these signals? Why are they so potent, yet so easily missed? They are dark not because they harbor ill intent, but because they dwell in the unlit corners of our communication. The subtle shifts and unspoken truths that illuminate a person's inner landscape, often only if one chooses to look with deliberate attention. They are the intricate brushstrokes of emotion that paint a picture far more nuanced than any spoken word can capture. Consider them as a quiet, sophisticated form of emotional communication, often employed by individuals, particularly many women, who have been subtly or overtly conditioned to navigate relationships with an eye towards harmony and a gentle avoidance of direct confrontation. For some, to voice a complaint or a deep-seated need explicitly might feel like an act of aggression, a disruption to the delicate balance they strive to maintain. So instead, the message is encoded, woven into the fabric of everyday interaction, waiting for a perceptive mind to unravel it. These aren't mere hints. They are elaborate messages, demanding an empathetic listener, a decipherer of the unspoken. We can often discern these subtle indicators, these dark signals, in three distinct yet interconnected forms, each a testament to the depth of feeling they carry. Firstly, there is the avoidance of direct eye contact, or subtle shifts in body language. Imagine a conversation where, when a sensitive topic arises, the gaze, once steady and engaged, now flits away, perhaps towards an innocuous object or downward at their hands, seemingly studying their own fingers. It's not a dramatic turn of the head in defiance, but a soft, almost involuntary redirection, a withdrawal of shared visual space. Or picture the slight tensing of shoulders, a momentary stiffness in posture, or the way arms might subtly cross, not in aggression, but as a gentle protective barrier, a shield against an unseen emotional blow. These are micro-expressions of discomfort, signals of a topic that holds more weight than appears on the surface, or a feeling that is being actively suppressed. They are the body's quiet protest, a visual whisper that says, "This is not comfortable for me," or "There's much more here than I'm willing to say aloud right now." Secondly, we observe the delay in response or hesitation in verbal communication. You ask a seemingly simple question, "How was your day?" Or, "Are you happy with this decision we made?" And instead of an immediate, fluid answer, there's a fractional pause. A beat, perhaps two, where the air thickens with unuttered thoughts, with internal processing. The response, when it finally comes, might be overly generalized, a vague reassurance like, "Oh, it was fine, nothing special," or "It's okay, I guess," delivered with a tone that doesn't quite match the casual words, perhaps a slight flatness or a hurried quality. This isn't a lack of information. It's often a carefully edited version of the truth, a truncated narrative designed to avoid deeper exploration, to sidestep a potential emotional exposure. The hesitation reveals an internal conflict, a weighing of consequences, a filtering of authentic emotion through the lens of perceived appropriateness or safety. It's a silent dialogue happening within, where the desire to express clashes with the learned habit of self-preservation, or the longing to maintain harmony. And finally, there is the most poignant of these signals, the withdrawal from previously cherished activities or social engagement. This isn't a sudden, dramatic declaration of solitude, but a gradual, almost imperceptible stepping back. A woman who once eagerly participated in weekly gatherings now finds reasons to decline more often than not, often with plausible but vague excuses. A partner who loved to brainstorm new projects, vibrant with ideas, now falls silent during creative discussions, offering only minimal input. An individual who once found deep joy and solace in a particular hobby now leaves it untouched, gathering dust in a corner, its allure seemingly evaporated. The invitations are still there, the opportunities still present, but the enthusiasm has quietly receded. This withdrawal isn't necessarily a sign of anger or disinterest in others. It is often a profound indicator of an internal struggle, a depletion of emotional energy, or a growing sense of disconnection that makes engaging with the outside world feel too taxing, too demanding. It's a silent retreat, a turning inward to nurse unseen wounds, or navigate unacknowledged burdens. These signals are dark because they are not loud. They don't come with flashing lights or urgent sirens. They demand an active, empathetic engagement that goes beyond merely processing words. They are accurate precisely because they bypass the conscious filter, often betraying true feelings or deeply held concerns that the individual might not yet be ready or feel safe enough to articulate directly. They are the subtle shifts in the emotional landscape that, when noticed, reveal cracks in the foundation or nascent sprouts of a new, unexpressed desire. They are the quiet alarms that ring not in our ears, but in our attuned awareness, urging us to pause, to look closer, to ask the deeper questions before the whispers turn into shouts, or worse, into an impenetrable silence. Think back to just last week. Which subtle sign did you see in a loved one that you dismissed as just being tired? The tragedy unfolds when these accurate yet subtle messages are consistently ignored. The person sending these signals, often already feeling vulnerable, begins to internalize the message that their deeper truths are either invisible, unimportant, or too burdensome for others to acknowledge. The emotional distance, born from a lack of mutual understanding, grows. The recipient of these signals, still operating on the assumption that no news is good news, and that direct verbal communication is the only valid form, becomes increasingly bewildered when the emotional landscape eventually shifts dramatically. They are left grappling with an inexplicable gap, a sudden coldness, or an unexpected outburst, unable to connect these consequences to the long, quiet history of missed signals. They are living in the echo of a conversation that never truly happened, a dialogue that died in silence, leaving behind only confusion and regret. What is the true cost of this unconscious omission, this silent dismissal? It is not a single dramatic event, but a steady accumulation of moments, each weaving another thread into the growing tapestry of disconnection. The price is paid not just in tangible outcomes, but in the slow, agonizing erosion of the very spirit of intimacy, leaving behind a hollow space where true understanding once bloomed. Let me share with you two contrasting narratives, two distinct paths individuals have walked when confronted with the quiet whispers of the soul, the dark signals hidden within the shadows of communication. In our first story, we meet a man named Mark. Mark loves his partner, Sarah, deeply and unequivocally. He believes their relationship is solid, built on trust and mutual respect. And from his perspective, he puts in the effort. However, he was raised in a world where problems were addressed with direct words, where what wasn't explicitly stated simply didn't exist. Sarah, in recent months, had undergone subtle shifts. Her laughter was less resonant, replaced by a more frequent, almost practiced smile, especially when he inquired about her day. She began to decline weekend outings they once eagerly anticipated, offering perfectly rational reasons like fatigue or a mounting list of chores. More often, she would gaze out the window as he recounted his stories, or occasionally, he'd catch her unconsciously biting her lower lip, a small gesture he attributed to general anxiety or distraction. Mark didn't intentionally ignore these. He simply lacked the tools, the internal lexicon, to decode them. He heard the words, but he did not hear the heart. He heard Sarah say she was fine, heard her say she was busy, heard her say she was tired. And he believed those words, failing to realize they were a veil, a carefully constructed facade concealing a deeper reality. He reacted to the surface, never piercing the skin of the conversation. Over time, those tiny, unacknowledged gaps transformed into deeper fissures. Sarah, feeling consistently unseen, began to experience a profound sense of invalidation. Her inner voice, once a vibrant chorus of thoughts and feelings, became muffled by the sheer lack of recognition. She had stopped sending those subtle signals, not because she no longer felt them, but because she had learned, through repeated experience, that they would not be received. She retreated further into herself, carving out a private, safe space for her emotions that were never truly shared. Mark, on the other hand, grew increasingly bewildered. He felt Sarah slowly drifting away, a palpable distance growing between them that he couldn't name. Their conversations became more transactional, devoid of the warmth and authentic intimacy they once shared. He could sense a mysterious coldness, a creeping isolation he couldn't label, couldn't explain. He was blind to the chasm that was opening because he only reacted to what was spoken, and the most crucial elements were precisely those that remained unspoken. Their relationship, once a flourishing garden, now resembled a parched desert, not due to a sudden blaze but from a slow, insidious, unacknowledged drought. This is the tragic narrative of a slow fracture, precipitated by ignored dark signals, leaving both parties feeling profoundly alone and misunderstood, trapped in separate, silent realities. But let me tell you a different story. The story of David and Emily. David, like Mark, could have easily missed the dark signals. But David had learned something profound about deep listening. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Emily returned home with a visible weariness etched into her face. Yet she still managed a forced smile when David asked about her day. "Oh, it was fine," she said. But David noticed the fractional delay, the fleeting glance past his shoulder at the blank wall, and an unusual lightness, an almost careless quality in the way she set her bag down. Instead of accepting that surface answer and launching into his own day's recounting, David did something different. He didn't judge. He didn't accuse. He paused. He walked closer to her, and gently, with a palpable sense of empathy, he asked, "You seem a little off today, Emily. Is there something heavy on your mind that you're not telling me?" In that single moment, Emily's world, which had been wrapped in a protective shell, found a tiny breach. A kind question, devoid of demands, spoken with full presence, created an immediate, fragile bridge. Emily looked into David's eyes and saw there not idle curiosity, but genuine concern. An earnest invitation to her inner world. She didn't burst into tears or unleash the full torrent of her story immediately. But she began. She spoke of a minor disappointment at work, a misunderstanding with a colleague she had tried to smooth over, and the sheer exhaustion she felt from constantly having to be the one who kept the peace. David listened, without interruption, offering only gentle nods and a warm, reassuring presence. He didn't try to fix everything at once. He simply listened, acknowledging her unspoken emotions, validating the subtle discomfort that had been so evident. In that shared, profound quiet, their connection was reestablished. Emily felt seen, truly heard, deeply understood. David wasn't a mind reader. He was simply a conscious listener. A kind question, asked with presence, is sometimes the only bridge across the chasm of silence. But what if she still remains silent? What happens when an earnest inquiry is still met with a denial, a shake of the head, or a hollow reassurance that it's nothing? Is there a way to continue listening, to gently probe beyond that protective shell without pushing away or invading? To reach for understanding when the other person cannot yet, or will not yet, offer the words themselves? This is the delicate dance of empathy, the profound challenge of true connection, and the very essence of understanding the dark signals that persist even in the face of our best intentions. So, the question lingers from our last story, doesn't it? What if, even after a genuine, kind inquiry, the response is still silence? A gentle denial, a dismissive shrug, or that hollow reassurance, it's nothing. This is where the true challenge and the deepest work of connection begins. This is where we must move beyond the expectation of immediate verbal reciprocity and equip ourselves with what we might call an empathy toolkit, a set of gentle practices designed to listen to the shadows, to understand the language of the unspoken, even when it stubbornly refuses to find words. It's not about prying, but about building an unshakable bridge of safety and understanding, brick by careful brick, silence by patient silence. The first, and perhaps most crucial, tool in this kit is deceptively simple. To stop guessing and start asking open-ended questions. Our minds are remarkably efficient at filling in blanks. When we encounter a dark signal, an averted gaze, a hesitant response, a subtle withdrawal, our brains, seeking immediate closure, often leap to conclusions. She's just angry. He's probably stressed from work. They're tired. These assumptions, while sometimes benign, are often profound barriers to true understanding. They shut down the possibility of discovery, replacing genuine curiosity with convenient, often inaccurate narratives. Instead of projecting our own interpretations, we must cultivate the courage to step into the unknown with an open question. Not, "Are you mad at me?" which implies a specific answer, but, "What's happening for you right now?" Or, "How are you truly feeling about this?" These questions, asked with authentic vulnerability and a genuine desire to understand, invite a person to articulate their truth, even if it's just a fragment. Even if it's still shrouded in hesitation. They communicate. "I'm here. I see something. And I'm ready to listen, without judgment, to whatever that something might be." It's an invitation to explore, rather than an interrogation. Have you ever felt a profound relief when someone else named a feeling you couldn't articulate yourself? Then, we move to the powerful practice of reflecting emotions and gently labeling what we sense. This isn't about telling someone how they feel, which can be dismissive, but about offering back an observation, a gentle mirroring of their internal state. When you notice that distant gaze or the subtle tension, you might say, "I'm sensing a little bit of hesitation from you right now," or, "It seems like there might be some sadness underneath your smile." This takes immense bravery and a finely tuned awareness. The magic of this tool lies in its validating power. When someone hears their unspoken emotion articulated, even indirectly, it creates a profound sense of being seen. It tells them, "You are not alone in this feeling. I perceive it, and it is valid." This often acts as a key, unlocking the door to deeper conversation. It gives a name to the nameless, allowing the person to confirm or gently correct your observation, thereby engaging them in the delicate dance of shared understanding. It transforms an internal, isolating experience into a shared, acknowledged reality. The third vital element in our toolkit is creating safe, intentional pauses, a profound stillness in the conversation. In our fast-paced world, silence often feels awkward, something to be filled immediately. But in the realm of dark signals, silence is a sacred space, a crucial oxygen for thoughts and feelings to emerge. After asking an open-ended question or reflecting an emotion, resist the urge to fill the void. Allow a beat, perhaps 8 to 12 seconds, for the other person to gather their thoughts, to wrestle with their emotions, to decide if they feel safe enough to share. This deliberate pause communicates patience, respect, and an unwavering presence. It says, "I am not rushing you. Take all the time you need. I will wait here, in this quiet space, for you." This kind of silence is an act of profound compassion, offering a refuge from the pressure to perform or articulate immediately. It is in these moments of quiet, unpressured space that the most fragile truths often find the courage to surface, like hidden springs bubbling up to the light. Imagine the freedom of having a secret code for when you truly need support, without having to say a word. Finally, consider the proactive, subtle strategy of establishing signal agreements. This is a more intentional, collaborative approach to navigating the unspoken. In some relationships, especially those where direct verbalization is genuinely challenging or historically difficult, a mutual agreement can be incredibly empowering. This involves openly discussing and agreeing upon certain subtle, nonverbal cues that signify a particular internal state or need. For instance, a partner might agree, "When I touch my teacup and hold it a certain way, it means I'm feeling overwhelmed and need a moment of quiet, even if I can't say it." Or, "If I quietly leave the room and go to my study, it means I need space to process something, and I'll come back when I'm ready." These agreements, forged in moments of calm and trust, provide a secret language, a lifeline that bypasses the need for immediate verbal articulation when emotions are running high or words are hard to find. They transform confusion into clarity and silence from a barrier into a shared understanding. This isn't about simplifying complex emotions, but about providing a clear, pre-agreed path for communicating urgent needs when the direct route is blocked. These tools, when woven together with genuine intention, create a tapestry of empathetic connection. They transform the act of listening from a passive reception of sound into an active, engaged exploration of another's inner world. It's about moving beyond the literal, beyond the superficial, and into the profound depths where true understanding resides. It requires us to shed our own biases, our preconceived notions of what communication should look like, and embrace the messy, beautiful, intricate reality of how humans actually connect. It means practicing a form of brave stillness within ourselves, quieting our own anxieties and judgments to fully attune to the subtle vibrations of another's spirit. It is in this brave act of seeking to understand the unspoken that we not only bridge the chasm to another soul, but we also deepen our own capacity for empathy, making us richer, more attuned, and profoundly more human. But what is the ultimate reward for undertaking this journey? Beyond the mere resolution of conflict or the patching up of misunderstandings, what profound transformation awaits both the listener and the one whose dark signals are finally heard? The journey into the subtle language of the mind, particularly the minds of many individuals who communicate through nuanced signals, is not for the faint of heart. It demands courage, the courage to be vulnerable enough to ask potentially uncomfortable questions, and the courage to truly listen to answers that might challenge our deepest preconceptions. It demands an immense patience, for these hidden truths do not always reveal themselves quickly or easily. They often emerge slowly, cautiously, like a shy creature from its den. And it requires a profound humility, an acceptance that we do not and cannot ever know everything about another person's intricate inner world, but that we can always strive to understand more. The act of seeking out and acknowledging these dark signals is, at its very core, an act of profound love. a powerful affirmation of another person's inherent worth, and a testament to the enduring human desire for true, unvarnished connection. A bond forged not just in shared joy, but in shared vulnerability. It is the embrace of complexity, the willingness to step beyond the superficial and to delve into the rich, intricate tapestry of what it means to be truly human, truly connected. Ultimately, the power to change this dynamic lies within each of us. It begins not with grand gestures, but with a simple, conscious choice. To stop ignoring the quiet whispers and start listening intently to the echoes that reverberate just beneath the surface of conversation. It means training ourselves to notice not just the words spoken, but the slight tension in the shoulders, the almost imperceptible tremor in a forced smile, the sudden, pregnant pause before an answer. It means developing a keen sensitivity to the atmosphere, the unspoken energy in a room, the subtle shifts in mood that betray a deeper, unarticulated reality. This is not about mind reading. It is about heart reading. It is about cultivating a profound empathy that allows us to feel, to some degree, the unexpressed emotions of another, to resonate with their internal landscape. It is about understanding that true intimacy is built not just on shared laughter and open dialogue, but on a shared willingness to explore the shadows, to hold space for the parts of ourselves and others that are often too fragile, too vulnerable, or too complex to be articulated directly. The reward for this deeper engagement, this patient attunement to the dark signals, is nothing short of transformative. When we choose to acknowledge these subtle communications, we unlock a richer, more profound dimension of human connection. Relationships become more authentic, built on a foundation of genuine understanding, rather than superficial assumptions or unspoken resentments. The persistent frustrations of miscommunication begin to diminish, replaced by the quiet confidence that even the most delicate sentiments will find a compassionate, receptive audience. For the individual whose inner world was once a private, often lonely space, the experience of being truly seen and deeply heard is profoundly liberating. It validates their sensitivity, affirms their intuition, and empowers them to bring their whole self, with all its depths and nuances, into the light of shared experience. They no longer have to carry the silent burden of unspoken fears or desires, for they now know, with certainty, that these will be met with curiosity and care, not dismissal. And for the listener, for anyone who makes the conscious choice to listen more deeply, the world opens up in new and unexpected ways. The confusion that once clouded interactions begins to dissipate, replaced by newfound clarity and insightful understanding. They gain a profound, almost visceral understanding of the complex emotional landscape that underpins human behavior, not just in particular dynamics, but in all people. They become a more effective communicator, a more compassionate partner, a more insightful friend, a more attuned colleague. Their capacity for empathy expands, enriching their own life immeasurably, and allowing them to navigate the intricate tapestry of human relationships with greater skill, grace, and genuine connection. The initial discomfort of venturing into the dark gives way to the profound, enduring satisfaction of true connection, of truly knowing and being known in return. We are not born with the innate ability to read each other's minds. We grow into understanding one another through the courageous act of reading each other with compassion. This week, perhaps try this. Ask someone you care for deeply. If you're not ready to say it, how can I be there for you? Or, What is one subtle sign you often give when you need something, but can't ask? This isn't about solving every problem instantly, but about opening a gentle doorway to understanding, a pathway to deeper empathy. If this reflection has resonated with you, if it has illuminated even a small corner of your own understanding, consider saving this video for a day when you might need a reminder, for yourself or for someone you love. Let this not just be a cautionary tale, but an invitation to lean in closer, to look a little deeper, to listen a little longer. An invitation to recognize that the most profound truths are often not shouted from the rooftops, but whispered in the shadows. To ignore these dark signals is to willfully diminish our world, to sever crucial threads of connection, and to miss out on the invaluable wisdom that resides in the unspoken. But to embrace them, to engage with them with an open heart and a curious mind, is to embark on a journey towards a richer, more authentic, and ultimately, a more profoundly human existence. It is to choose to live in a world where every tremor is felt, every whisper is heard, and every unspoken truth is given the chance to illuminate the path forward. It is, in essence, to choose light over darkness, understanding over ignorance, and genuine connection over superficial harmony.